While White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki claims to embrace transparency, reporters still can't get access to border facilities. A New York Times contributor says whiteness is a pandemic. Plus, Democrat John Kerry gets caught flying first class without a mask. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is the 13-Minute News Hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Friday. Hope you had a great week. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to start with the White House and the border. But think back first to Barack Obama's administration. Remember, they used to say they were the most transparent administration in history. And they were saying this while they were having the Benghazi scandal, IRS scandal, Fast and Furious, Russiagate, spying on political opponents, email servers, you name it, they kept saying it. Well, guess what? The Joe Biden administration has embraced that. Jen Psaki talks about this all the time, transparency. And yet, Joe Biden stays hidden most of the time. Interactions with him are strictly limited. And as far as the White House doling out information, they've clamped down rather than opened up. Just look at what's going on at the border. This is a full-blown crisis, folks, and members of the media are trying to get access to talk to Border Patrol officials, to tour facilities, get ride-alongs, and yet they're being stonewalled. Apparently, they've been asking about this for weeks. Jen Psaki said she'd circle back on it. Well, that is wearing thin, and it bubbled up this week during a press briefing. Here's the question.
It's now been 3 weeks since I think in this room you were first asked about getting us some press access. Why have we still not seen any images inside these facilities?
Okay, pretty straightforward question. Turns out Psaki was asked about this 3 weeks ago, and yet nothing has happened. Here's her response.
We remain committed to doing that, and I think these facilities are overseen. HHS, of course, oversees the shelters. The DHS oversees the Border Patrol facilities, and we want to work with them to ensure we can do it, respecting the privacy and obviously the health protocols required by COVID.
We remain committed to doing that. That's her answer? That's a non-answer. That's the usual nonsense. So the reporter followed up and said, look, even if we don't have access, you guys do. You could release information, release photographs, tell us what's going on, but you haven't done it. What's up with that? Here's Psaki.
And we remain committed to transparency. I don't have an update for you on the timeline for access, but it's certainly something we support.
Psaki and Biden have no timeline for granting that request, yet they're committed to transparency. Unreal. It is absolutely unreal. So then she moved on. The next reporter took over and followed up again, saying, look, we're getting reports from Border Patrol agents saying they are being told not to talk to us, not to grant interviews, not to grant ride-alongs. What is going on? Psaki deflected that question, and that led to this exchange.
I mean, our reporters used to be able to get ride-alongs during the Trump administration, and you all came in and promised to be the most truthful and transparent administration, and you all, oversee the Department of Homeland Security. So if you all wanted to grant access to the press, couldn't you just tell DHS to do it?
Again, we fully support transparency, and I would encourage you to talk to the Department of Homeland Security about any requests you have for press access or what you're looking to accomplish at the border.
Yep, they're committed to transparency. You won't get it. They won't deliver on it. And yet they're still committed to it. That's all you need to know. It's not real transparency. It's the commitment to transparency. Jen Psaki is just the worst. Her answers, her responses are nonsense. You don't get any actual information, and it's wearing thin, even with this left-wing media who want to say great things about Joe Biden and just follow his every move. They're being stonewalled, and it's rubbing thin because Jen Psaki doesn't know what she's doing. She can't answer the questions, but guess what, folks? They're committed to transparency, even though you'll never see it. All right, next, let's talk about the New York Times and what is fit to print over there. But first, if you're new to the show or haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. We're making our push for 150,000 subscribers, and we can do it with your help. All right, let's talk about, here's today's lesson. It's Friday. We're going to do a lesson in unity, but from a left-wing perspective, which means it has nothing to do with unity and everything to do with division. The Democrats, the media, the left, they love to talk about lowering the temperature, calming the rhetoric, bringing people together. And yet they push division every chance they get. And most of the time, they go to their number one issue, their number one go-to issue, which is race. Just look at what the New York Times just published. A New York Times columnist writing in the digital magazine The Root declared whiteness a pandemic and said the only way to stop it is to kill it. Whiteness is a public health crisis, said New York Times columnist Damon Young in an op-ed. It shortens life expectancies. It pollutes air. It constricts equilibrium. It devastates forests. It melts ice caps. It sparks and funds wars. It flattens dialects. It infests consciousness. And it kills people. Are you kidding me? First of all, I don't know what this thing about equilibrium even means, but imagine for a second that you replaced whiteness with blackness and wrote the same column. There would be an absolute meltdown, folks, and yet this is okay? Here's more. Young, who is listed on the New York Times website as a contributing opinion writer, wrote the op-ed in response to shootings in Georgia on Wednesday that killed 8 people at Atlanta area massage parlors. 6 of the 8 victims were Asian, prompting some to immediately speculate that the killings were a hate crime. But investigators said that the gunman, 21-year-old Robert Long, appeared to be motivated by sexual addiction and said that the slayings were not racially motivated. So apparently there was no race involved in these shootings, yet that's what the media jumped on. Oh my gosh, 6 out of the 8 victims were Asian. It must be a hate crime. And yet, as the information is coming out, you see that this guy had some sexual addiction, mental problems, and took it out on massage parlors. That's the story right there. And yet they try to tie it in race. This guy tries to tie it in race. But you want to know what he really thinks? Here's more. White supremacy is a virus that, like other viruses, will not die until there are no bodies left for it to infect, Young continued, which means the only way to stop it is to locate it, isolate it, extract it, and kill it. I guess a vaccine could work too, but we've had 400 years to develop one, so I won't hold my breath. So I wonder if the New York Times thinks this op-ed will lower the temperature, will calm the rhetoric, will promote unity. What do you think? So they published it. He didn't just go on the New York Times and say, hey, we're going to do this. They decided to publish this garbage. So what are they thinking? What is their motivation right there? Unity or division? So next, let's talk about John Kerry, because he is now joining a long line of Democrats who love to tell people to mask up, but they do it for the optics. And when they're alone, they don't think that the masks are that important. We've got Nancy Pelosi at the beauty parlor. We've got Gavin Newsom hanging out, no masks, no social distancing. We've got Senator Dianne Feinstein, no mask. It's a long line. It seems like government officials love the masks, but only when people are watching. And so there he is with no mask, but the cameras are ready. So there he goes. Mask on, making that long, dangerous COVID journey to the podium. And then off it comes. He's ready to go. No mask. Just that clip cracks me up every time I see it. But that's what's going on, folks. You've got Dr. Fauci, too. He's got the vaccine. Now he's showing up at Senate testimonies double masked. It's absolutely outrageous. But now we have John Kerry, who was flying first class on American Airlines. He has sparked an actual investigation because people saw it. People spread the word. They're looking into it because flying without a mask on the airline is a violation of Joe Biden's federal mask mandate. And here's the story. John Kerry, President Biden's administration's climate envoy, appeared to forgo a mask while flying first class on an American Airlines flight from Boston to Washington, violating the federal mask mandate, prompting an investigation from the airline. The purported violation of the federal mask mandate occurred on Wednesday as Kerry departed Boston. A photo, first published by the Tennessee Star, shows the climate czar appearing to read a book, his face completely exposed. According to the outlet, Kerry was not eating or drinking. So this left-wing hypocrisy, which is just absolutely outrageous, was not missed by Donald Trump Jr., who tweeted this. Spotted, liberal hypocrite and Biden administration official John Kerry flouting Joe Biden's federal mask mandate. Note, his mask is off and he isn't eating or drinking. Will he be fined for breaking the law and banned from flying American Airlines like regular citizens would be? Hashtag liberal privilege. So, as this photo started to spread and tweets were out there, reaction to it, American Airlines actually did respond to one of the comments, and they tweeted this. We require masks on board our aircraft and are looking into this. Looking into this. What do you think is going to happen? Recall this, folks. After Joe Biden put out this federal mask mandate, American Airlines issued a statement. They issued a statement saying that if you do not wear a mask, you could be denied boarding. You could be removed from the aircraft. You could be subject to other penalties in addition to being barred from future flights. That was the list of what happens if you don't wear a mask, according to American Airlines. What do you think is going to happen to John Kerry? Let me know in the comments. All right, so it's Friday, right? So we've got Jen Psaki. We've got Whiteness as a pandemic. We got some John Kerry. We need to ask them, do you have a relaxed brain?
I got what you call, a relaxed brain.
All right, first we've got the Democrat governor of Colorado, who apparently did not factor in ranchers and meat eaters when he decided that March 20th will be Meat Out Day in Colorado. And here's the story. Colorado Governor Jared Polis wanted residents to go a day without eating meat, but instead he spurred a stampede to steakhouses. The Democrat governor's Meat Out Day proclamation, encouraging Coloradans to skip saturated fats on March 20th, has backfired spectacularly, feeding resistance with a meat-in day that has carnivores vowing to outdo themselves in celebration of the state's livestock industry. I think this is a wake-up call, said Terry Fankheiser, Executive Vice President of Colorado Cattlemen's Association, which launched the meat-in movement in response to the gubernatorial proclamation. At least 26 of the state's 64 counties have issued meat-in day proclamations since Polis made his declaration last month, while more than 100 restaurants are offering specials and sales on burgers, bratwurst, and barbecue. Now, the blowback has been absolutely awesome, folks. In fact, the governor's office has issued statements now saying, you know what, it's all in fun. We're glad that this is bringing attention to the livestock industry, the cattle ranchers, etc. That's what they're saying. And the governor has issued another proclamation 2 days later on March 22nd, which will be Colorado Livestock Proud Day. Give me a break. So next, let's talk about the teacher who just got awarded $325,000 because she was hung out to dry by her school district when she edited a photo in the yearbook. This guy had a shirt on, a pro-Trump shirt. She edited out the logo. Check this out. Here you can see the before and after pic of the student with the Trump shirt and how it looked in the yearbook. So apparently the teacher, Susan Parsons, was told by the administration, officials in the principal's office, you got to remove that logo. You got to get rid of Trump, make America great again. So she did. She went in there. Well, of course, there was backlash on this story, and the school district hung her out to dry, saying, yeah, she did it. We didn't know anything. She did that on her own, that anti-Trumper, never Trumper. So she filed a lawsuit on it. She's retired now, and she's getting $325,000 from the school district. Good for her. So next, some in-depth reporting from the Babylon Bee, because they figured out why Joe Biden never gets riled up. And here you go. Biden shares his secret to keeping calm in a crisis: senility. I just love that, folks. And then, in case you think that these racial attacks that you see more and more often are something new by the left, think again. After killing Abel, Cain tells God that the true culprit was white supremacy. See, it goes all the way back. I'm talking to the beginning. White supremacy. It's a pandemic. You got to do something about it. All right, folks, that's our show for today, but I got a few announcements for you. One, check in tomorrow for our Saturday live stream. It's 11 a.m. Central Time. We've got writer, producer, actor Sam Sorbo. We're going to be talking about her new book, Words for Warriors, and her appearance in the film Leaders for Life. It premieres on Wednesday. I'll be down there in Florida for the premiere giving a speech. You need to check that out. I've got a link to the information in the description, but tune in tomorrow for our Saturday live stream with Sam Sorbo. It's going to be great. Until then, please subscribe, and when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified, and we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.